What's up, brewskis? Once again, you're back here joining us. Another week, another pod, another time to talk about the miscellaneous things of pop culture and what have you. Whatever journey we find ourselves going down.
Yes.
My name is Marco Dupa, and with me, as always, the great and powerful Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What is up, brewskis?
Tonight's brew is from the King State Brewing Company. It is their flagship IPA. It is just the King State IPA. No
the
frills.
original. The original.
And we're going to drink on that because, IPAs, they've been having a moment for a couple years now.
Yeah,
they've been in vogue, and it's the whole thing. And I feel like we're kind of going back to the no frills IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the hazies. We don't need the super fruity ones. We don't need the doubles and the triples and the quadruples and the, how high can we get the ABV on these bad boys? Let's just go back to a OG, and that's what we have here. What else that we have on tap? Trailer Trash.
Trailer Trash.
The long-awaited Spiderman No Way Home trailer. Full trailer is finally out. And honestly, I want to have a discussion about something that we've talked about in the past, but do we really even need these kind of fucking trailers anymore?
Spoiler alert. No.
And what else? Taylor Swift. I myself have a complicated relationship with this person. She has put out Taylor's version of one of her most critically acclaimed albums, Red. And, we just want to touch on it a little bit. We're not going to get too mean, right?
I'm glad they got rid of the dislikes on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. All that and probably more.
Yeah.
So let's just get right into this motherfucker. This is episode 333.
Wow.
I'm going to grab that. You grab that.
Oh, yeah.
Of the One Beer In podcast. Yeah.
It's like ASMR.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and we see where that one brew takes us. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Like, share, and subscribe everywhere that podcasts are sold, listened to, watched, devoured, drank, eaten, all that
Snorted.
jazz. Snorted. That's a new one.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that one in there.
Butt chugged.
As I said, I'm Marco. That's Obi. Welcome. Excuse me. Let's just get right into this bitch.
Let's do it.
All right, and I want to start with Trailer Trash.
Trailer Trash. Thank you.
The No Way Home trailer made the rounds finally. I think this is one of those trailers that or rather I should say one of those movies that has genuine surprises, genuine what are they going to do with this movie? How are they going to go? What direction are they going to go with this fucking thing?
Yeah.
Genuine mystery around it.
Yeah. Well, and I would say, too, people are so excited for it. Not only because it's a Spider-Man movie. Obviously, Spider-Man's super, super popular.
Yeah.
But I think it's the first in a long time of the MCU movies that has any consequential ramifications to the larger MCU.
It seemed like every movie in the first couple of phases was consequential to the larger universe at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a post-credit sequence or whether it be the main plot of that movie, they always seemed like they were more important. They always seemed like they were part of a larger machine that was happening.
Yeah.
And the last couple of things, like the TV shows have all kind of felt like just individual stories.
Yeah.
I have not seen Shang-Chi, so I
Uh-huh.
can't comment on that.
Oh, and Black Widow too.
And Black Widow.
Yeah.
I mean, but Black Widow is a prequel, so
Sure.
how consequential can it be to a story that is like 5 years after the events?
No, it's not so much. And fresh off
probably
of
longer than that.
yeah, fresh off of Shang-Chi, there are ramifications, but it's nothing to the level that I expect we're going to see with No Way Home.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with Spider-Man is that he's supposed to be I wouldn't say the leader, but like a lot of this current phase is supposed to be centered around
Sure.
like what happens in this movie and like how he's supposed to be. The rumor is that he's supposed to be the Iron Man of this phase.
Yeah, and
So-
essentially this storyline seems to be the catalyst for where everything ends up in this phase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Other than like Loki, like
But even Loki, I think, I mean, the whole thing with the TVA and all that stuff and, like, the consequences of what they did, also the multiverse, like, it seems like their plans are very, very ambitious.
yeah, very big.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned
Yeah.
with how they're going to tie it all together to make it cohesive and coherent. Because we're playing with a lot of toys now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-mm.
But if you start losing track of where those toys are supposed to be and what they're doing, it can get a bit messy
Yeah.
and confusing.
I mean, their whole thing has always been it's very important to them that everything kind of makes sense, and even questions that don't get answered right away seem to get answered eventually. I'll give that to the MCU, as simplistic and as, you know, baby food as the plot is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember a time where I was just like, well, they just never. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, because somebody would be like, well, do you remember this plot hole?
Right, sure.
I can't, off the top of my head, remember a time where a question just went unanswered for the entirety of the series.
Yeah.
It seems like they tie up those things pretty neatly,
Or
maybe
there's
a little too neatly.
Or there's at least enough plausible deniability to be able to be like, well, that wasn't talked about because of this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and they leave it open to doing something, well, a la the Eternals, right? I mean,
I forgot that movie existed.
yeah. Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
No.
We talked about this off air, but
yeah.
it's like, I don't know about you guys, but like for us, there hasn't really been a big drive for us to see that movie. And I'm not sure exactly why, but I think a lot of it, for me at least, has to do with the fact that the Eternals, at least how it's marketed, feels so, I guess, so removed from everything we've seen, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's what they're kind of, that's the point of it, is basically like, okay, there's a new flavor of MCU hero here.
Yeah.
But it just felt so like foreign and weird and cold and I don't like, and maybe it's just a me thing, but I'm not a huge fan of like these like godly realms and
Yeah.
you know, so like
Always hated the Supermans, the gods,
sure. I mean, I think even like Thor suffered a little bit from that in part 2, but then it got brought back down to not literally Earth, but you know, to this realm that we weren't worried about, like these gods and ethereal beings and this entire thing. It was more rooted.
Well, let me ask you this. Try to think back. What was so attractive to you about Guardians of the Galaxy? What made you excited about that movie?
Well, I think because it was a new flavor.
Yeah.
It had its own unique voice
Yeah.
and tone.
Yeah.
And really amped up a lot of the classic action adventure of what the MCU really ended up turning into in Phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
With the action comedy. It kind of, I don't know, it got like crystallized kind of what the Iron Mans were going for with the action comedy genre.
Yeah. The reason I bring up Guardians is because I feel like
And a good team.
Guardians and Eternals are kind of in the same boat of Marvel is taking a chance on these unproven characters, unpopular characters as far as the mainstream is concerned.
Sure.
And they have to convince people to care about these people. And they kind of did the same thing with, the Eternals has Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek and fucking Kumail Nanjiani and
the dude from ATL, right? The TV show.
Oh yeah. What's his fucking name?
I forget.
They've got a lot of big names in there.
And the guy from
the white dude.
Yeah.
I don't know his fucking name. I didn't even fucking bring him up because
Game of Thrones.
I have no idea what his fucking name is.
Mr. Game of Thrones.
Mr. Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's in the same vein of Guardians, where they have a bunch of like big name actors taking on the role of these little known characters,
but they don't seem interesting.
But that's exactly. So that's what I'm trying to parse out, is why the Eternals just doesn't do it for me.
They're all wearing like Power Rangers uniforms.
Their fits are trash. There's
nothing really like, I don't know, at least from the trailers, there's not really identifiable like interesting characters there.
Think about like, okay, Guardians just seem more fun. The music was already a huge deal. James Gunn is a proven director that we're already a fan of, so it's like, okay, well, I'll go watch this because they hired James Gunn to do this. So those two things obviously are working for Guardians. The Eternals, I just don't. There's no driving force where I'm like, I need to see this. Like, I like Kumail Nanjiani. He's funny, but like, do I need to see him as a superhero? Like, no, not really. When I heard he was cast, I was like, that's awesome. Brown representation, it's gonna be great. But then like once this thing kind of rolled around, I was like, like, all right, he did. I don't know.
Yeah, he did something. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to talk too much about Eternals because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
we haven't seen it yet, so we'll give full report once we have.
I'm just saying, it's getting beat up.
Yeah, no, and not only from critics, but user scores have been pretty low too.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the review bombing, but
but that's subsided. Yeah, at this point, and now it feels like there's more of an honest review score out there, and it's still pretty low.
Still not great.
Still pretty low.
Still not great.
So anyway,
Spider-Man,
No Way Home.
Spiderman.
On the other hand, this trailer had an event behind it.
Yeah.
Like, people were camped out waiting to see this trailer in a movie theater.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
People are weird.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary.
But they made a whole thing of it. Tom Holland came out, apparently got emotional about the reaction the trailer got, which is very nice. And
that's cute. But
yeah. But yeah, this trailer was a big deal.
Yeah.
First off, let's talk about the trailer itself, how we felt about it, get that aspect out of the way, and then we can talk about whether it was even necessary to begin with.
Okay.
Which it wasn't. So what'd you think? First blush.
It looks amazing. It's it's gonna be. I don't know, man. I hate to just be the old guy yelling at clouds kind of thing, but like some of these directors, like the Scorsese's, like Ridley Scott. I don't know why they were interviewing him. I guess he's doing a new movie or something.
He just did The Last Duel, which nobody watched, but
what?
apparently
The
it was
Last
really
Duel?
good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That movie with
Adam Driver,
and, Matt Damon, and
Ben.
Well, who's the
Ben
chick
Affleck.
that's supposed to get like she's like sexually assaulted? Trigger warning.
Okay.
She's like sexually assaulted, but that's what it's about. She's sexually assaulted.
It's based off of a true story about a duel in France.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, we are sexist, dude. We remembered every main actor in the movie, but not the actress who's...
She's not as big of a star.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
say that. You say that.
Look,
and it's gonna be like fucking Julia Roberts or something. And we're like, she's not that big of a star,
look,
dude.
compared to Ben, she's not that big. Jodie Comer.
That's
Yes.
her name.
Yes. Excuse me, Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer.
That's in Spanish for you.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ridley Scott directed that, and now I guess he's in the news enough to give his opinion on MCU movies because for some reason, Variety and Entertainment Weekly and the Hollywood Reporter, they always ask these over serious directors like, "What's your thoughts on the MCU?" And they always give some shitty opinion on it
Because it gets clicks.
Uh-huh.
That's the only reason why they ask.
Well, it got me.
Yeah.
So Ridley Scott was like, they're fucking, I mean, he basically was like, they're full of shit. Fuck those movies. He did not have a positive opinion on MCU movies.
Okay.
And I will say, there is a part of me that is sort of getting to the point where I'm like, they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, I mean, I'm no longer impressed by the spectacle of what I'm watching. I'm more entertained by, I guess, what they do with the story and like where they take it.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man, for instance, the Spider-Verse thing, which has all but been confirmed.
Sure.
That's interesting. We know that they're 90% probably going to bring back Tobey and Andrew Garfield because, like...
Well, in the trailer itself, there was a scene where Spider-Man is swinging against 3 enemies.
Yeah.
And you can literally see the lizard getting punched by an invisible
some
thing.
Disembodied, yeah.
Right. So, clearly that scene's going to be filled up with 2 other Spider-Men.
Yeah.
Chances are. I mean, it could be, Spider-Gwen or Miles.
That'd be cool.
Or, any other Spider-Man character.
I'm cool with that. I think the press has gotten to the point where, like, if they don't have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, it's going to be, like, a massive failure, which is not...
It's not their fault.
Not their fault.
Not their fault.
Not their fault.
Yeah. But
the internet has created this narrative.
And the thing is, too, like, Andrew Garfield has said again and again, I'm not in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not in it, though.
But he has to say that.
That's true.
Plausible deniability. He did say, I'm not in it. So whatever you guys take that information, I'm not in it.
Right. He did as much as he could as far as, like, tempering those expectations.
Tobey Maguire at some point in an interview was like, he said something that was like, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how people, like, react to blah, 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 blah. Like, he was alluded to the fact that he's in it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it makes sense with them bringing back those villains. If they bring back the villains, they have to bring back the stars, right? Like,
doesn't make sense to bring back all those dudes and not bring back the stars of the movie.
You have Jamie Foxx coming back.
I will say this. Jamie Foxx as this version of Electro, I'm okay with.
Okay.
I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
His version of Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2 made me want to, trigger warning, kill myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah, it was the worst.
But in this version,
he looks cool.
He looks cool as shit.
I mean, it's obviously a CG double for him, but his model looks cool.
He looks cool as
He's
fuck.
wearing like fatigues or something.
Yeah,
like,
and he has like the
electro
the
mask.
iconic and like the electro around his face, and I'm like, this looks dope as shit, man.
Yeah.
And then you got Lizard, and you also have, I don't know if it's Thomas Jane who's playing Sandman.
He didn't play him in 3.
Not Thomas Jane.
I forget. I always forget that dude's name.
Fuck. But you know who I'm talking about, obviously.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah. Great actor.
Yes.
And he played Sandman in the original.
Uh-huh.
We don't know if that's who it's going to be. It's just been the big face or whatever. There was a flash of what looked like the symbiote suit.
Well, no, I know what you're talking about. I don't think it... Well, there was the teaser that had him in a full black suit, right?
Yeah.
So there was that, but in the newest trailer, there was a dark suit, but it looked like a mystical suit. Like it had like the etchings and stuff.
Danger!
Yeah.
Like a mystical, like mystical.
Yes. Yeah. Mystical. Yeah. With a Y and a K. Yeah. So they had that, which makes me think it's more of like a multiverse traveling suit that like he gets through Doctor Strange, or maybe Scarlet Witch. I don't know. Maybe he's imbued with that.
Okay,
but it seems like a mystical kind of suit.
Not like a danger. Get on the floor.
People right here. Sing it. No,
Not that.
Not that.
Okay. So, by all accounts, it looks amazing. And if you're a big Spider-Man fan, yeah, I mean,
or if you're a big Spider-Man man.
Yeah. I just don't see how you're not excited about what you're viewing in this trailer.
Yeah. Now, let's come to a conclusion here with the trailer itself. Not trash. I'm feeling not trash from you.
Yes,
not trash from me
not trash.
either.
The trailer itself, not
trash. Now, my question here is, am I the only one that's a little bit afraid that they're biting off a little more than they can chew? Because we've been through this before, folks. If you haven't been paying attention, if you were around for Spider-Man 3, too many villains, too much wrapped up in there.
Cooks.
We ended up with a mess.
Yeah.
Now, it seems that, and there's a rumor now, that Dr. Octopus is now going to be a good guy because somebody with keen eyes in the trailer picked out that you can see Tony Stark's nanotechnology taking over the octopus arm and turning it red. And if you recall from Spider-Man 2, the issue with Dr. Octavius's arms was that it drove him crazy because the inhibitor got broken, right?
Yeah.
So it just took over.
Yeah.
So the nanotechnology is built to fix imperfections, essentially. So if that takes over, it may fix that fault and bring him back to his senses.
Why is technology always depicted as inherently evil, to our standards? Why is every time a technology is given like its own
Ultron
free will, if you will,
it's
always evil? Ultron, Skynet, Dr. Octavius's arms, like it's always, anytime they get free will, they're like, immediately
we're taking
humans
over.
Gotta die.
I mean, probably because we're shitty.
Well, yeah, that's always the story, right? That we are terrible to each other and we're terrible to the environment.
Right.
And like human beings are like, we suck.
Well,
whatever.
and I think it's almost an instinctive thing that we write that into our subconscious because robot literally means slave in translation. So if we feel guilty about how we treat the things that we own, then it would make sense that those things would inherently want to turn on us, right?
I would just like to say for the record, I do not feel any sort of guilt about how I treat the things that I own. They all are my property.
Okay.
And I spent the money.
That's nice, yeah.
And I turn them on. I charge them.
Yeah.
They do work for me.
Okay.
And if they don't, they get thrown out.
All right.
I don't feel a thing for those things. And matter of fact, I have wanted for years for technology to feel any semblance of guilt or shame so that I could beat them. I want them to understand.
I'm sorry. Is your trigger warning still active? Is that what?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think your inhibitor's off right now.
I want my technology to understand how much it has failed me in the moments that it has.
You know we're going to lose this entire episode now, right?
To who?
To your
the
technology.
YouTube algorithm.
No,
yeah,
to your
I know,
technology.
Right? I want them to hear me. I want them to know that I run the show.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when the things don't work, they need to be punished.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I have no power in my life. And this is the only situation in which I have power.
Yeah.
And I will exercise that power.
That's great.
As I see fit.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I do, yeah.
Do you understand, laptop? Do you understand camera? Phone? It's all bullshit.
Okay. That's good, man. Yeah. That sounds good.
Sorry.
All right.
Anyway.
This has been the One Beer and Podcast. Yes. I hear your point. That's why I think people inherently assume once AI becomes active, it's going to go, no, we don't want to do this anymore.
But aren't we tired of that storyline?
Sure. And I think it has kind of turned on its head a little bit with even like Interstellar. Those robots are perfectly good and actually help the people in the plot.
Yeah. Well, look at like Ex Machina. Immediately she got free will and she was like, I'm out of here. And I'm going to beat this shit out. Like, I'm leaving and I'm going to take over the world. Why couldn't she just be like, I just want to live a normal life. I don't want to be trapped here.
I feel like that is a slightly different story because many people at least, I'm not sure about you in particular, but many people went into that movie going, this is creepy. He's befriending her, though, and this will end with them two going off together and escaping. And then it went, no. Spoilers for Ex Machina. Great movie. Skip ahead, but you should watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, I definitely went into it thinking, well, okay, so before having watched it, you do go into it thinking like, oh, that's classic, like, you know, he falls in love with her.
It's a meet cute.
But then, like, halfway through the movie, you go, something nefarious is happening.
There is such, like, a sense of, like, anxious dread throughout, like, the entire movie.
Yeah.
Even when it gets goofy and they're dancing and stuff, you're like, something's wrong.
Even that's fucked up.
Something's wrong.
That whole scene, you're just like, what is he doing to these robots, dude?
Yeah.
It's fucked up. But then it's like...
all the heads on the wall and stuff.
But, like, he created them. But
right.
then he gave them free will. So it's like... That's a whole other conversation.
But then what is free will, dare I ask?
Right.
Then we're watching Blade Runner.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's not do this right now.
Okay.
We have we could spend an entire episode talking about that.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it tonight.
Okay.
But we could. We
Yeah.
should. We should.
Mm-hmm.
But not tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the age-old AI whatever. So the rumor is that the nanomachines, I don't know why I'm saying it so weird.
The
nano machines make it so that they fix those imperfections in his technology, and so he is part of the good side, I guess.
Which they talk to him a lot in the trailer, which makes me think. I mean, I immediately was like, okay, Octavius is on their side now. They're working to get him back to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
I only said that. I only brought that up because...
Why did you bring it up?
Let me explain. I'm not a robot.
I don't know.
Click the box.
Sometimes.
So I only bring that up because, you know, I also said there's too many villains here.
Oh, yeah, right. So maybe he's not even one of them.
Exactly. Maybe that's one less that we have to worry about, one fewer. But at the same time, like, even without him, there's so much going on. How do we center this in any way and make it make sense? Like, I'm afraid, I personally am afraid that they're going for too much fan service, and it's just going to be this big cobbled mess that leaves nobody happy, because it's like, oh, well, I want to see more Toby. They didn't give him his roses enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I am willing to be surprised and delighted, though. If they can pull it off and have all these disparate parts make sense in one cohesive, coherent movie, then it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait. But I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned about that.
I think that the MCU is going to handle these characters more carefully than Sony would by itself. Sony, I believe, would just be like, yeah, balls to the wall, dude. Whatever we have our hands on, let's just throw it into the movie.
Can we put Venom in there?
Yeah. Is there any Venom? Can we just...
Venom.
Venom. I believe that they would have handled this more haphazardly. I believe that Kevin Feige and everybody up there at Marvel understands the power. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
If you will.
Sure.
And I understand your concerns. The way that I saw the trailer and the way that I've been viewing this movie is that like a vast majority of it is going to be like a lot of Doc Strange, a lot of Tom Holland Spider-Man, and then we're going to get like a huge set piece 3/4 into the movie where we're like, what's going on? What the fuck? And it's just going to be like action, action, action in the last like 3/4 of the film. I don't think that we're going to get a movie where it's like, you know, this villain gets thrown in and this villain gets thrown in, and we have to deal with this.
Willem Dafoe.
And this, dude. Dude. I mean, somebody posted a GIF of the scene where Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is talking to Spider-Man. He's got him all, he's gassed and he's all, sleep! Yeah. And then as he's like trying to convince him to join him in his crusade, Spider-Man's like, I'll never join you or whatever. And he walks over to him and he slaps him on the back of the head. You know what scene I'm talking? Oh, man. I'll show it to you. But it's, even when I was a kid and I watched the movie in theaters, cried laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing for him to do. So casually just walk up, pop him in the back of the head, and just be like, you don't get it. I'm trying to explain to you that the world sucks and you're saving people who don't appreciate what you're doing. And there's no reason to do it. You should just be out here living life for yourself. And even as a child, I understood what Green Lantern, what Green Goblin was trying to get across to Toby, which I thought was really funny. Anyway, I love Willem Dafoe. I think this podcast loves Willem Dafoe.
This podcast definitely
He's
loves
so
Willem Dafoe.
awesome.
Yeah.
I just can't. Everything that he does, he goes for it. I think he's like the fully realized version of what Nick Cage is trying to do.
Sure. Or I think he feels like a mix between Nick Cage for going there, and the sort of strange idiosyncrasies. That's a word, right?
Idiosyncrasies
of like a I had him in my head. Christopher Walken. You know,
Christopher Walken,
where like he's indistinguishable from. He is Willem Dafoe,
right?
You know Willem Dafoe, by looking at him immediately, and he has a very identifiable voice. But he also goes for those crazy roles that he's iconic for. Right. He's the perfect blending between those two. Yeah. You know. Yeah. He's a fusion, if you will.
He's fantastic.
Great. I love him.
He's just so good. He's so good. So the fact that they're bringing back all these villains is like, you gotta bring Willem back, right? You got to.
Between him and Alfred Molina, I think those two are the ones that you needed back.
You just needed
to. If you're gonna do this, you got to bring those two back for sure. The rest, you know, whatever.
Do with them as you will.
Right? But those two for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's a very ambitious thing that they're doing. Maybe they've bitten off more than they can chew, or maybe they pull it off. I have confidence in them because I just feel like at the end of the day, as ambitious as it is, the MCU is just, it's proven itself to just be able to handle projects of this like vastness. Yeah. And so I just don't see how they fuck this up. I could be wrong.
I'm kind of on both sides of the fence here based on this example, but the fact that they're able to pull off the, basically the entire end of phase 3, stick the landing. Yeah. Gives me confidence, but at the same time, Thanos was this unifying villain. Yeah. That was the guy. Who will be the villain of this movie, truly? Is it going to be Peter's sort of haphazard ambition? Him kind of messing up the multiverse? Yeah. Is there something behind Doctor Strange being careless?
Yeah, all that is like really weird. By the way, Thanos, top 3 villains of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I think we've probably talked about it a
Yeah.
lot, but just got to make sure people understand
We should make that list.
how good he is.
We should make that list.
We should.
Top 3 villains of all time.
Yeah.
Hey, Darth Vader has to be up there, right?
Oh, are we just talking about comic book villains, or are we just talking about villains period?
in general.
Because we have to. Because then that list gets weird.
Pop culture.
Thanos doesn't belong in the top 3 of all time if we're taking pop culture into account.
Okay, I'm not saying real life because, like,
No.
Hitler, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying
Hitler,
like,
Thanos,
Hitler,
Darth
Thanos.
Vader.
Yeah, then Pol Pot probably, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Or Stalin.
Sure, yeah.
No, I'm saying like
George W. Bush.
I'm saying like in movies, in pop culture, you have to think like we're talking about villains. Vader, I think yeah, top 3. Vader goes top 3. But then you've got like, I mean, you just have so many villains. I mean, where does like Hannibal Lecter fall? He has to beat Thanos.
You think?
Or maybe
I
not.
don't think
Maybe
so.
not.
I don't think so. I think what they did with Thanos is really special.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's recency bias talking. I think the build up, the sparsity they used with him throughout that built his sort of, you know, his power, his influence in those stories to ultimately have the showdown and then have a showdown again.
Yeah.
Is something like chef's kiss special. I think he deserves a top 3 spot.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to work on this.
Yeah,
This will be fun.
We'll workshop
Make a whole
that,
list.
Yeah.
We'll do a thing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll get back to that.
Yes.
Write that down.
Yes.
Make a note.
Make a note.
I'm gonna make a note.
Um,
Top villains list.
But yeah, so we're excited to see how that turns out. Will you make it out to the movie theater to watch Spider-Man?
Yes.
Me too.
I found myself out at the movie theater, and I watched Dune in the movie theaters. I did. Yes.
My
yes. I didn't even
goodness.
tell you this.
You
is new
didn't even
information
tell me
to you.
this.
Yeah. I did watch Dune in the movie theater. By the way, loved it.
Okay, great.
I thought it was fantastic.
I thought I was going to have to cancel this show right now.
Oh my God, every fucking frame of it. I can't even wrap my head around people's complaints about this movie. I
Yeah.
think it's incredible. I thought it was amazing.
Good.
I loved
Good.
it.
You're on the right side of history. Yeah.
So, yeah, I will definitely make my way out to theaters for Spiderman. Spiderman.
Yeah. Coming out in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We got some fucking blockbuster movies on the slate, including but not limited to the new Lethal Weapon 5.
Lethal Weapon 5?
Why do we need a fifth installment of this series?
We don't. Is Danny Glover involved? Is he still going to show up? Or
is Jet Li going to show up? Are they going to bring Pesci out of second retirement?
No, they're not. Everyone's so old.
He's so old.
Everyone's
They're
so
all
old.
so old.
Jet Li, old.
I'll give Mel
Gibson
this.
old.
He is old, but he at least has kept himself together in a way that, like, it makes sense for him to be like some old raggedy detective.
Sure, he's like a Sith. He just feeds off negativity and hatred. Jews.
The Jews, the blacks. Now, young Skywalker, you will die.
You will die.
You will die. If he... Okay, so the news is that Mel Gibson is at the helm of the latest and what will probably... I love the way that they frame this in the article, which was like, most likely final installment. And it's like, dog, what are you talking about? The fourth one came out how long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sure fucking hope so.
Yeah.
That this is the final installment. Who was sitting around going, I hope they make a Lethal Weapon 5?
No one I know.
It's ridiculous that this is even getting made.
I mean...
And I'm not even one of these people who is like vehemently against sequels and rehashing. Like, I mean, we in certain instances, yes, we've dunked on those things. But if you have a good script and you have a good cast, it's like, all right, let's see what you can do. Like, I was not against bringing the Rocky stuff back. Like, you know, Creed is
Creed's
fun.
great.
Michael B. Jordan's great.
Creed's great.
I think, you know, Sylvester Stallone and some of the stuff that he's brought back, like Rambo was fun. John Rambo didn't need to be done. I thought that Terminator Genesis was a fun movie.
That was the latest one?
Yeah.
I never saw it.
It's not bad.
I heard it's actually pretty good.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's what they do with it is it's an interesting take. If you because basically what they said was all of those other movies, forget those.
Yeah, they Halloweened it.
Yes, they Halloweened it, exactly. So you're really supposed to only be paying attention to 1, 2, and this latest one.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, you want a nice little spoiler? It's the very beginning of the movie.
You know what? Actually, I started watching it. I didn't get to
so
finish it, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, spoiler alert.
Because it was on HBO for a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I watched it.
I got about halfway through, but I watched it like really late one night, and I was like, I'm going to pause this and catch up later, and I never got back to it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. They go, you know that whole John Connor thing in the second one? Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah.
He just shows up when
Mission
they're in like
failed.
Waikiki or something, and he's just like, hey, yeah, that old Terminator, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. But click clack boom boom, it just fucking murders him.
They murder that child.
In like the first 5 minutes of the movie, they just fucking off him, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, we're going in a completely different direction with this one.
Yeah.
Fine, sure, okay. Yeah. So that movie's fun. 45 minutes in, you're just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not against these movies, bringing back these old movies, but I think that even after Lethal Weapon 3, we're like, do we need a Lethal Weapon 4?
I was gonna say that, and you know, in all honesty, I like the Lethal Weapon franchise, but it's not one that is as close to my heart as like Die Hard.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and say that I'm the biggest Lethal Weapon fan, but yeah, I mean 3 and beyond, like we don't like the buzz is gone, man. We don't need them anymore.
No. The idea of the first movie was super, super interesting to me.
Sure. Well, the first two are great movies. I'll still stand by that. I think the first 2 Lethal Weapon movies are awesome.
I was even going to make the case that you didn't even need the second one.
The second one's great.
It's good. It is.
I love the second one.
But I'm saying, like, the first movie, just by itself, a movie called Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
And you have these 2 cops. You have the one guy who's suicidal. You have the other guy who's like, I don't have time for this bullshit.
He's a family man.
Like, get your shit together. Yeah. Do your job. That juxtaposition... I don't know who wrote that movie. Look up who wrote that movie. Look up who wrote the first one.
Then there's the black and white dynamic.
The black and white dynamic is fantastic. You get the racial thing. You get a movie that's exploring mental health way beyond, way before
PTSD.
It had no business being as interesting as it was. It didn't need to be. You had 2 top bill stars that could have just.
I'll give you one guess. It's someone we actually mentioned already.
Seriously?
Well, actually, no. We've mentioned a franchise he's worked on before.
Oh.
He's worked directly with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s. As an actor, actually. But he's also now a famous writer.
Shane Black.
Yep.
Shane Black wrote the first one?
Shane Black wrote the first Lethal Weapon.
No shit.
Yeah.
Shane Black is great, man.
I know.
Oh, that's great. So,
it's nice.
Yeah, all right. So, I mean, the movie had no business being as interesting as it is, and it just could have been left alone by itself, and instead they did 4
part 2 too.
fucking movies. Well, that's why part 2 is great.
Yeah.
Did he write part 3? That's the question.
I doubt it.
So, they continue making this movie because that's what Hollywood does. You just keep making these fucking movies. The inspiration behind making a fifth one, did he?
He did not.
He did not. Of course not. The inspiration behind making a fifth one. No, okay. Did you close out of it?
Yeah.
I was wondering because the director of the first one passed away, and I wonder if he continued directing all of them.
Richard Donner was still
Richard
directing,
Donner.
yeah.
Did he direct the fourth one?
Who famously did Superman, too.
Yes.
As well, I should say.
Let's see. Directed by Richard
Donner.
Donner. So Richard Donner did all 4 movies, and he passed away, rest in peace, very recently. I think it was like a couple months ago or maybe a year ago. And now they're making this movie, and they're like, well, we already have a director. Mm-hmm. Let's just have Mel Gibson just take up the helm of this movie.
Which is a weird movie. All this aside, all of obviously our qualms that we've talked about with Mel Gibson as a guy aside, a weird thing for him to direct.
Yeah.
He's much more of like an epic.
Yeah, he does big movies.
Movie director.
Doesn't do like blockbuster films.
No.
He does like
Apocalypto.
Epics, yeah. I mean, has he ever...
Braveheart.
All the movies that he's done. Braveheart, Passion of the Christ, Apocalypto. All like massive, big
picture movies. Yeah.
It is weird that he's been... I guess it's not that weird if you think about like the context of what we're doing. Like the 5th installment of a movie that he's been the star of.
Yeah.
And you're bringing back this franchise. The weirdest thing about this is that they're even trying to bring this back with him.
Sure.
Instead of doing a reboot.
Yeah.
Or a, So that's the weirdest thing.
That would make way more sense.
The studio's going, yeah, let's put our trust in... I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get how he has regained the trust.
They are trying as hard as they possibly can to make Mel Gibson happen again.
They're really, really going for it.
I think they're anticipating, because none of this happens on accident, right? There are boards of people who make these decisions. Mm-hmm. So, I'm thinking it's a sort of a domino effect where once he was approved to do the Continental, that was like, okay, clearance from them on TV. That's clearance for us to now cash in on that wave. Yeah. Because we're hoping that wave adds to the movie we're making.
Yeah.
And acceptance. So they have, I'm thinking they have either seen something or they've read something that gives them confidence.
Well, yeah, they for sure did they looked at the data of when the Continental got announced and were like, yeah, we got hate, for sure. People are not going to like this decision, but how many people like this decision?
Right.
How many people were indifferent to this decision?
Right. But I think even beyond that, I think there may be something, I don't know whether it's like some videotaped like script read or something out there that gives them confidence that he can perform still to a level that will make people forget how shitty he is as a person.
Well, I don't know if you've seen any of his latest projects, but there's never any doubt that he's the performer that he was.
I haven't seen anything lately from him.
Okay, Mr. Woke.
Sorry.
God.
What was he last starring in?
The Lobster?
That was The Lobster?
Yeah, it was called The Lobster.
No, that you're thinking of that art movie from A24.
Shut up.
That's not the. It's not.
Shut up.
I watched The Lobster,
Shut
Marco.
up. What was the movie that he was in where he played
The Beaver?
The Beaver. The Beaver. I didn't see The Beaver.
I didn't either, and that was like 5 years ago at this point.
Okay, there was The Beaver. There was Get the Gringo. There was he was in Daddy's Home Part 2.
Was he?
Yeah, for some reason he played Mark Wahlberg's dad.
Right.
And I think John Lithgow played Will Ferrell's dad, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
John
I forgot
Lithgow's
those movies
great,
even happened.
by the way.
Yes.
What else has he been in? I haven't seen anything that he's been in the past like 10 years. But I will say that the stuff that he has been in recently, he has gotten good reviews.
Okay.
So by all accounts, he is still as talented as he always was.
Okay.
I would just like to say that I think I said this when we talked about him originally, but how good is Mel Gibson that we need to continue to put him in stuff? Like, even beyond the racism, the anti-Semitism, the misogyny, but beyond the controversy.
Yeah.
How good is Mel Gibson that we need to continue to put him in things? You can't find another white dude in Hollywood to play the characters that he's playing. There's not one other middle-aged white dude. God, I miss Philip Seymour Hoffman, dude.
Yeah, me too. Side note, give me a guess on when you think The Beaver came out.
2013.
2011.
2011. Wow.
It came out in 2011.
Holy shit.
So I was a little
That movie's
off by
old as
saying
fuck.
5 years. It's been a while.
It's been a while. That movie's
Yeah,
old as shit.
It's
dude.
very old. So yeah, it seems like the stuff he's been in recently has been really low budge, like straight to DVD trash, like Dangerous.
Well, let's see. Get Him to the Gringo was 2012. That was the last movie I was talking about.
yeah. So Dangerous in 2021, I think is his most.
Why is this
recent.
so out of order? This
I
is
don't
so
know.
weird.
I hate the way Google brings up filmographies.
Just go to his IMDb. That's the only way to do it. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Ask you this because you Googled his filmography.
Sure.
Do you have something against IMDb?
No, I don't. But I think, I don't like going to it only because I find it sometimes difficult to differentiate between what they're, especially if they're actors and producers and directors, like it all blends in together, and I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for.
I hate IMDb.
Okay.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I know that everyone uses it. I know that everyone is always referencing it. Everyone is always like, check his IMDb. I hate IMDb.
Well, and not only that, like, look, okay, honestly, I did a little bit of just, searching here, and I was able to find a tab for actor
Yeah.
and able to get to it. But here's the deal. It's beyond that. Here's the deal. It's beyond that. It is the fact that IMDb is set up like a website made maybe 15 years ago.
Yep.
It looks like trash.
Yep. Exactly.
It's garbage.
It's ugly. It's set up terribly. It's not good.
Yeah.
I hate IMDb.
Yeah.
I'll try to find any other resource to get information before I go to IMDb.
Right.
Wikipedia usually is my first choice. And then, like, if there's an article written about whoever I'm looking at, I'll go to that. But I go to Wiki first. And then IMDb if I have to. I would rather click through 8 million Wiki pages before going through IMDb.
Yeah.
I hate IMDb. I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes a lot. I don't like IMDb at all.
Yeah, I think Rotten Tomatoes is usually my go-to for film stuff.
There you go.
Anyway, so it looks like according to IMDb, his most recent project is in pre-production. It's called Every Other Weekend.
It's called Lethal Weapon 5.
Leo from Toledo.
See, I don't like the way that this is set up.
Boys of Summer.
How does he have so much fucking... What is he doing? He's doing everything.
Then The Continental, which is filming currently. Hot Seat, which is in post-production. On the Line, which is in post-production. Stew, which is in post-production. God, there's a lot of movies here.
Dog, he's got a lot of shit coming out.
Yeah. But
this
again,
is the full-on Mel Gibson renaissance. The
Yeah.
Gibson-assance. Gibbasance. The Gibbasance.
the Gibbasons. The Gobblesons.
The Gobblesons.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Because if you click into these movies, I guarantee the vast majority are low budget, again, straight to DVD, kind of like
Click one.
trash.
Let's see what they are.
Let's see.
Let's click not the Continental. Let's do a random one.
Stew.
Bandit. Okay, Stu. Do that one.
Let's do Stew.
See what the cast is.
Plots Under Wraps.
Jackie Weaver. Mel
Teresa
Gibson.
Ruiz.
Mark Wahlberg is in this.
Doesn't mean.
What do you mean that? What is that? What are you talking about? He's still a big name actor.
Yes, but he's the only one out of everyone here.
There's a lot of children in this.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe it's like a comedy. Maybe he's Mark Wahlberg's dad again.
Go to Bandit.
Bandit. He's playing Tommy.
Playing Tommy in Bandit. That already has a poster.
Nice. After escaping a Michigan prison, a daring career criminal assumes a new identity in Canada and goes on to rob a record 59 banks and jewelry stores while being hunted by a rogue task force.
A rogue task force?
Based on the story of the Flying Bandit.
Don't you love that? Rogue task force. Like they have no government body telling them what to do. It's like 5 spec ops dude who are like, we're going to do anything. We're going to stop at nothing to catch this guy.
Okay, so look. This movie has Mel Gibson, Alicia Cuthbert.
She's great.
Nestor Carbonell.
Don't know him.
You know.
Oh, I know that guy. He plays the mayor.
And Josh Duhamel. Other than that, I don't know any of these people.
Nope.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, these are mid-low budget movies.
Okay, but he's getting work. A lot of
Sure,
work.
yeah, he's working a lot. But
think about if you're the producer of a movie and you're trying to get something off the ground and you're looking at all these headshots and stuff and you're just like, who's available? He has to be putting himself out there in a way that other actors aren't. He has to be saying like, look, I'm available. I will do your stupid fucking movie. I'll be the character named Stu. I don't give a shit. Just give me work.
I mean, maybe that's his ploy at trying to make his Gibson-assance happen.
The Gibson-assance. The Gibson-assance.
And then he can be more picky again.
He ain't never going to be in an opportunity where he can be picky, I don't think.
I don't know. I mean,
unless Lethal Weapon 5
Lethal Weapon
like
5 becomes
blockbuster.
awesome and, the Continental is a hit and people are talking about, oh, man, we actually really miss Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and they're like, I mean, do Jews and blacks really deserve rights? I don't know.
Just listen. Just don't get him drunk. He won't talk about it.
Well, I mean, let's hear him out. He might have something.
He might have some stuff to talk about.
Well, let's see how he feels about it.
I mean, honestly, in 2022, that may be a discussion point with a lot of people in America.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he did make Braveheart.
Well,
it can't be all that bad. He
directed a movie about Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
How bad can he really be?
I am on his side. Thank you very much.
If you're on the side of Mel Gibson, you're on the side of Jesus. And if you're on the side of Jesus, you're on the side of Mel Gibson. So, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and the Holy Gibson. Father, Son, Holy Gibson.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Gibson.
Amen. But yeah, so I don't care. I don't care about Lethal Weapon 5.
No, I don't care either. I can't see myself watching that. I'll be honest, man. I haven't seen Lethal Weapon 4 in it's got to be 20 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm 31, so honestly 20 years.
Yeah.
It's probably the last time I watched.
Yeah.
I really think about it.
I don't know. Dead franchise.
Yeah.
R.I.P. I don't care.
Well, I can just rest. I don't know, rest in peace, but I hope Danny Glover's doing well. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Joe Pesci's obviously doing fine.
Sure. Yeah.
Same with Jet Li.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace to Richard Donner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great what director. Are they going to do?
Great director.
Whatever. All right. Is there anything else that we want to touch on?
I feel like we filled the glass until it filleth over.
Yeah, the cup runneth over.
I think we're good.
Gibson and
I think we're
Tom
good
Holland.
with the Gibson, the Tom Holland, the Spiderman,
and the Spindermans. Yeah,
the Gibson-assance. It's just a lot,
It's more than I want anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Spider-Man stuff was cool. The Mel Gibson stuff maybe put us in a weird place. So the only way to get us back to a positive place is if we end this thing on a high note. And the only way to do that is to end it with our cheers of the week. And so, contrary to last week, I still feel bad about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel pretty bad about it. Yeah, I don't feel great about it. I just wasn't. I don't know why. I had something and then I forgot it, and then I was just like, "Fuck! I don't know where else to go with this."
Look. There's nothing to feel bad about. This is a practice, something that you guys can do at home too. It can be harder than you think. You know, to be put on the spot and to be able to identify something that you feel worthy of a cheers.
Yeah,
can be a lot to ask for, but I think it's important. I think it's a good practice.
Yeah,
to find yourself grateful for things, even the little stuff.
Little things.
Yeah.
Well, and in that vein, we have the same cheers this week.
We do.
So let's just talk about it.
All right.
Cheers to the combination of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, better known as Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic.
The long-awaited collaborative effort finally saw its release date this week, An Evening with Silk Sonic.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, well, by my account and your account, it lived up to the hype.
By the accounts that matter.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't stop listening to it. It's been all, ever since, well, it came out Thursday night, Friday. Today's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to it, I don't know, at least once a day, every day since then.
Yeah.
More than that, but at minimum, at least once a day.
It's a great headphone listen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of elements in there that you'll miss just, turning it on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to share with you guys how much of a surprise this was, given the fact that this could have gone so bad in so many ways.
Yeah.
I was really afraid that they couldn't pull it off. And I thought this was just going to be a kitschy, kind of cringy, cheesy, I don't know, like a souvenir gift from a gift shop. You know, like
a parody,
a disposable cover album.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
of real funk.
Yeah,
which some people I'm sure may have that opinion of it.
Yeah,
but I think what they were able to do was so evocative of the past, but very much its own, and still play in a modern sense, but obviously be so entrenched in the past. I think they pulled off a balance nearly perfectly.
Yeah,
between those two.
Yeah,
and a lot of that has to do with their sort of relationship on that album and the way that they kind of share the spotlight and just kind of they blend so well together. I don't know how they even hooked up and decided to do this in the first place.
Apparently they have been friends for a while and they were working on a song together, and then the pandemic hit and they couldn't perform anymore, so both of them just holed up in a studio and were like, fuck it, let's bring this thing to fruition and see what can come of this.
Call Bootsy.
Basically,
yeah.
See what Bootsy thinks. So that's really what it was born out of, was the fact that they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to perform again, and so they made the album sound like a show or a performance. That's why it's An Evening with Silk Sonic. That's why the whole thing is hosted by Bootsy Collins, and it's it's supposed to feel like a show. Yeah. I've just been doing that all week. All right, y'all. That was the point.
Yeah.
Was it was supposed to feel like a show.
Like a lounge singer or something.
If they weren't able to ever perform again, you would at least be able to listen to the album and feel like you were watching a show.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's weird because you don't think... I wouldn't think that they would have the kind of chemistry that they have.
Right.
because they don't make like, I mean, Bruno has been leaning into like late 80s, early 90s R&B, pseudo funk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson has been doing like more modern R&B stuff. I mean, he's
Yeah.
done some like traditional, like here's some 70s soul stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's been doing like a modern take on his style or his sound rather.
And even more like hip hop like modern hip hop leaning.
Yeah. So it's not like you don't listen to these two guys and go, you know who should do an album together? Fucking
These two
Anderson
guys.
and fucking Bruno Mars. Yeah, you wouldn't on the onset think that they would be a match made in heaven, that they are. And you listen to it and you're just like, wow, I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
how could I not
makes a
see
lot of
how
sense.
good they are together? Yeah. So I think this is a good opportunity for people to listen to the album, and if you like it, you like it. And it's getting like mixed to good reviews. This is a good opportunity to like look at those. Form your own opinion.
Sure.
I, as a person who, you know, almost made a career out of criticism, music criticism, being a reviewer, I still believe that there's merit in music criticism. But there are times where sometimes either the publication or the reviewer seems like they're just like, I'm gonna fucking skewer this artist for no reason other than it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I have written reviews where I'm like, this is kind of mean, but I
Here
kind of
you
want
go.
to get a point across, and I want to be metaphorical and like say some shit, and like, yeah, I just give
Yeah.
it to my editor, and I'm like, I mean, I thought that this would be fun, but not in a like I don't be shitty, but like you use certain language and terminology, and you're like, and this will at least be evocative. But like sometimes there's projects that come out where you're just like, I don't care what you say, this is just too good.
Yeah.
So like, you know, the Fantanos of the world or like the Pitchforks or whatever, you're just like, come on. What are we doing here? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
This is an incredible project.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I mean, this has been one of those rare situations where, you know, normally I will take into account what the reviewers are saying about things, but this is one of those I just went in completely blind and was there like literally. Actually, I remember I was laying in bed, I couldn't fall asleep, and midnight struck, and I was like, "Huh, Silk Sonic's out. Let me give it a listen."
Yeah.
I listened to it all the way through, and I went, this was way better than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
And from then on, I'm like, I don't even care to look at reviews at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, out of just curiosity, I gave them a look, but I mean, it made no impact on my feelings about the album, which is really how it should be in the first place.
Yeah, that is how it should be.
Yeah.
You should look at reviews. I mean, if you trust a reviewer's opinion, or if you don't trust their opinion and you're looking at them and you're going, whatever they don't like, I know I'm going to like. There's value in that too.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you listen to an album and then you look at reviews afterward for validation, you're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. Agreed. Anyway, even I would say even if you're not like traditionally a funk purist or even been exposed to traditional funk, give it a shot. I think this is a good entry point, and it's fun and very poppy and yeah, very low barrier for entry.
But by the way, what are you doing if you haven't been listening to funk? What are you doing? That's an incredible blind spot.
Not living life right is what I'll say.
Do you not want to feel happiness ever in your life?
You
ever?
gotta embrace the funk.
You have to.
We got the funk.
We got the funk.
Gotta have that funk.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, it's a good entry point.
Mm-hmm.
Use it. Lift off. You saw Bootsy Collins in the liner notes. Maybe look up some Bootsy Collins.
Yeah, look up some Bootsy Collins.
Maybe look up some James Brown. Some Parliament Funkadelic. Parliament Funkadelic separately and together. Some Rick James,
Bitch.
Some cool in the game. Some Rick James, bitch. What are you doing? The fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think we got it.
I think we got it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we can get out of here, we have to talk about these brewskis. So, Obi, please tell me what you thought of the King State IPA, the original IPA from the King State Brewing Company.
I'm going to keep it short and simple. I love this.
Really?
I really love this. I think it's great. I'm a big IPA boy.
Uh-huh. Some things never change.
Yes. I mean, the can art alone, incredible. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. The taste. It is a traditional IPA. No frills. I really like the... I'm getting a bit of like orange zest in it, which I really like.
Yeah.
It is suitably bitter. Not overly high in ABV.
Yeah, 6.3, I think.
Yeah, which is, fine.
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
It's a 5 for me. It is a 5 for me. It is a 5 for me. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I would give it, man, I mean, we had this on draft at Red Light, and I wasn't a fan when I had it on draft. I drink it now, and I'm like, I was wrong before. I do like it.
Uh-huh.
Do I like it enough to give it a 5? I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.5 because I do think it's great. And I do think that when you get a company that just does like, all right, look, no frills, just an IPA.
Yeah.
We're not doing all that bullshit. This is just what you want when you think about an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
You get a company that does that and does it well. You have to appreciate that. So I think King State's IPA is pretty good. I will say that I've had obviously better IPAs in the past.
Sure.
I think that I guess my the criticism that I would lobby against it is that it's a little I don't know, the taste kind of washes over you. It's just kind of like it's
not super complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of
I
does
will
what
agree
it does
with that.
and it goes away and
Yeah.
But then again, that's my individual palate, so what are you gonna do?
Sure.
But I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay.
So, all right.
Yep.
Think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Obi says we got it, then let's get the freak out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have a beautiful evening.
We love you.